So this video is just a visual walkthrough of the best ways to utilize the integration between Leadpages and Infusionsoft. So number one is to create our initial lead page exactly like we want it, and then test our integration to make sure that we're starting the campaign. We're going to use a campaign category tag, and then we're going to use that single trigger tag moving forward. And the reason why we do that is there are a couple of reasons. The first reason is just here's the example campaign that I made for us. It's so clean, right? There's only one campaign tag that starts the sequence. I recommend definitely making it in the campaign category and then making it so that it has the word start at the beginning. Just that way it's really obvious. Anyone who sees these tags knows that it will start a campaign, and that will prevent anyone from accidentally getting a tag or getting an incorrect tag and the sequence never starting. So as an example, we have this sequence that just applies a test tag, keep testing, and then creates a test task just to see that it's doing what we expect it to. So when we're looking at the lead page, we just want to edit the pop-up and edit the integrations. You already know how to do this. And then you can see that we're applying our single trigger tag to start that campaign. So when we test this, we can expect that our contact will be imported. They will have the keep testing tag and the trigger tag that we applied. And then we should also see a test task as well. So we're going to test this now. I put a fake email in intentionally so that it wouldn't send anything. And we're just going to wait a second for the computers to talk to each other and for the contact to be created so that we can review it and make sure that it is working as we expect it to. Okay, so by searching here, we can see that the contact was imported. We can see that the test task was created, and we can see that the two tags that we were expecting to be applied were applied. You can also look in the campaigns tab if you want a really thorough picture of what actually happened in the campaign sequence. This was applied, started it, received this tag, and received this task. So now that we have our one trigger tag that we know for sure works, what if we have a Facebook ad and we have a website and we want to identify where people have come from? So that's where the lead pages actually come in, because the lead pages can apply tags. We're going to have the lead page apply that specific lead source tag to tell us more information. That way we can keep this campaign clean, and then we can continue to make as many lead pages as we want and add as many lead source tags as we want without having to worry about bulking up or making our campaign confusing. So all we need to do for that is just go back into our integrations to edit, and we're going to add a second tag. So if we're trying to do, I made a couple of test tags for this. So an example tag for the website. So this is one part of what we want to do. The other thing that we may want to do is fill in the lead source field for this contact. So looking at this account, you can see that there is a, just waiting for the internet, it's being a little slow. So there is a lead source field here, and if we want to fill that out, we can actually have our lead page do that for us as well. So again, kind of to recap, we know that we're applying this singular trigger tag, which actually starts the campaign. We're applying a lead source tag that's going to give us a little bit more information, but we also want to add a lead source field that's going to tell Infusionsoft what this person's lead source is. So obviously if this is the website, let's take a look at our lead sources. So in order to do that, you go here to Marketing Settings, and then we can see our lead sources are right here. And all we actually need for this is the lead source ID. So if we're doing the website, we can assume that this is most likely the ID 11, online organic search engine. So we're copying that 11, and then we're going to go here to the Fields tab in Leadpages. We're going to add a hidden field. So there are fields that you can add that people can't see that are going to input information into Infusionsoft for us, and we're going to use the lead source ID. So this is actually a really interesting thing that you can do. So what we're doing is we're just going to have it add a default of 11, which we know based on the ID is our organic search engine. So we're just going to go ahead and save that to know that it's in. But there is a really interesting thing called URL mapping right here. And the way that it works is if you are trying to like let's say you want to use this one lead page for the website, but you're putting it in different spots on your website and you want to know where they come from. In lieu of sending or creating different lead pages, you could also have it do like basically add the field up here and have the ID in here. And then the URL mapping, I want to say it would be question mark ls equals 12. So basically what would happen there is you can see there the way that it works. Basically the lead page would pull from this URL and you wouldn't actually have to make different lead pages. But this is just a feature that I wanted to mention because it could be valuable for future if we're trying to get really granular. But all we're going to do is just add this default lead source ID value. So we've got that saved in there. Let me make sure I didn't do anything crazy here. I did not. So now we're just going to update this page. Let's look to see. So we're expecting, so basically this is what we're expecting. We're still going to see the same trigger tag applied that's going to work with the campaign, which we already know works, but what we're also going to expect to see is that this new tag is also going to be applied that tells us that it was from the website, and we're expecting to see that they have a lead source plugged in for the organic online search. So we're going to update the lead page, we're going to test it, and we'll expect to see what we expect to see. So I'm going to refresh this. I'm going to delete this contact because it already has a lot of tags that we're expecting it to have, and I just we want to pretend this is just someone opting in for something. So let's delete that. Okay. So now we're going to test this again, and we're going to use another fake email address, and we're going to say send me the bundle. And we are just going to wait again for a second for the computers to talk to each other to say, hey, I have this new contact. Here is the information that I gathered. Make sure that you apply these two tags and make sure that you give them this lead source. Okay, so when we are looking at this contact that we just plugged in, we can see this. We can see our test task. We can see our tags, which now include our lead generation source tag, which is the website. And when we click in here, we can see that the lead source was automatically filled in for us. So again, Leadpage is doing all of this for us. So when we're looking at our campaign, this campaign hasn't changed at all because it doesn't need to. Everyone's going to get the same emails. We expect that they should all get this specific task and tag, but the Leadpage is going to do the very specific information for us. Now there's only one last thing that I want to add to this video, and it's that let's say that this particular user wanted to opt in again. They couldn't because the trigger tag is still on them. So basically, the tag being applied is what starts this sequence. If they already have the tag, it can't be applied because they already have it. So it's very important when you create these campaigns that you also take a moment to add a field that will remove the trigger tag. Just going to delete this. And we're going to have it remove our test. Oh, this is probably breaking for some reason. Just pause this. Okay, so I fixed it, and we're going to have it remove our test trigger tag. That way, if somebody opts in, as soon as they opt in, it takes that trigger tag off of them. So then, let's say they want to opt in for the free report again. They can just do it again, and the tag will be applied, and then we start the circle again. Or if you have some sort of yearly promotion and you're using the same lead page or the same campaign, having that tag removed is important. So to recap, we want to create the initial lead page just how we'd like and test the integration with that one campaign trigger tag. Then when we're happy with that initial lead page, we can create as many lead pages as we want to give us our different lead sources, aka, and this is pretty much how it's already set up already, a website lead page, a Facebook ad lead page, I don't know, a newspaper lead page, you know, however many you need. But the lead page itself is going to apply a lead source tag, and here's an example one, and then we're going to add that lead source ID into the fields like I showed you. And then last but not least, we do want to make sure that that trigger tag is being removed near the beginning of the sequence. That way we know that it's off of the person, and if they choose to opt in again, they will be able to go back into the sequence. Now, if they opt in and then they try to opt in again right away, if they're already in the sequence, then nothing happens. If, so let's say they opt in for a free report, they're 3 days in, they opt in again, they'll still be in the same sequence in the same way. But if they get through the sequence and then they want to opt in again, it will start them over from the beginning. So that's just a visual walkthrough. I'm going to add that video basically right to the end of this list. And this way you're basically ensuring that you're getting all of the information that you need, but you're keeping your campaign nice and clean so that you can continue to reuse it for as many lead sources as you want.